New Year's resolutions are overrated. So, I booked a tiny house, kind of in suburbia, Georgia. I'm home for the holidays, to come and basically reflect on when I told my parents that I was going to do this for the night just alone after spending a week at home. Both of their responses were, why? We'll get to that. Should be open. It's pretty big, honestly. We've got, oh my god. I've stayed in probably like 7 Airbnbs. Never been given this amenity. Okay, so I'm at this tiny house all by myself. Right now, I'm at an interesting life intersection, if you will. I've lived in Hawaii the last 6 months. Didn't leave the state for that time. Right now, I'm home in Georgia. I've been seeing family for the last week, and so much to like digest and just like absorb after being where I was for the first 22 and a half years to a completely different environment where I made new relationships, had so much growth, learned new things, was truly on my own for the first time. And to me, this seems like an essential time to stop, to pause. And what I want to talk about is reflecting on where I've been and what went well this year, what didn't go so well, where I fell short, what I want to happen next year, and really how I want to live my life going forward. It is that time of year where we think about what we can do better next year, and have a lot on my mind in that regard. Pretty nice out here, pretty nice place to just come and sit. Yeah, I think it's so important this year that we do that I do that. I've gone through a lot of change in my life. I already think we don't have enough check-ins built into our life where we pause and audit if we're happy. Above all else, am I happy with the things I'm doing, or am I working toward being in a place where the things I'm doing make me happy? But I think especially a couple things have compounded that for me this year, that I haven't done that. For all of us, we're in a pandemic, when a lot of days feel the same and a lot of days feel like there's no good news. I think that makes stuff blur together, and I think that makes us want to go a little more lifeless through our days. For me too, I made the move to Hawaii pretty quickly and with some uncertainty around it. As you get older, time goes faster, so I feel like I go back home for now at least, to Hawaii in just a couple days. And for me, I think it's critical that I pause. Maybe nothing more complex than that. I just pause. was saying that I don't like New Year's resolutions, which is true in the sense that I don't like New Year's resolutions without accountability. We make sweeping declarations that most of us don't really commit to in any concrete way. So my goal for this next year is to make these goals, write them down, set some realistic expectations, and then every month I'll write about like, how am I doing on those? Have the goalposts changed because I changed? I think that will be a cool way of, one, just having that reflection to look back on and use it as a marker in time that a month went by and I did these things and they were great or not so great, but they're memorable in this way. Two, exactly the reason I'm talking about resolutions is I think that'll bring a good sense of accountability to resolutions that a lot of us make. I usually don't make many, but I'm very particularly excited for this next year, kind of because of where I'm at in my life. It's gonna be a good year. So, the importance of reflection. Like I said earlier, it has been a year of a lot of pace, yet a lot of not moving. I think reflecting, journaling, at least for me, is a good way to kind of pause in time. You can reflect on your year however you want to. You can choose any prompt. I simply invite you to reflect in some way, to set aside a little bit of time to pause. I'll share with you my prompts where I made a list of all the things I learned most strongly this year. When I look back, I learned some really important lessons this year. It helps to write them out and makes them feel a little more concrete to have them written down and to have to think out, like, because this happened, I learned this lesson. After that, I went into what didn't go great. And there were a few things that I know I could have done better at, but the key here for me was to remove like negative judgment and to just kind of view myself with a lot of empathy. Again, it comes back to accountability for me, connecting the cause. For example, fitness consistency was something that didn't go great for me this year after April. So under each bullet point for what didn't go great, I learned I do a lot better with easier access to exercise. So joining a gym or yoga studio for me is essential. So that's something I want to do concretely better next year. I did make some resolutions. I did some concrete 2021 goals. And then I just did things that I'm excited for next year. That was a really nice place to end. Again, these are just suggestions on things that you can write about or at least think about for some dedicated time. I run in a tiny house. You don't need to do that. But it is kind of nice to be alone. Again, though, if you're gonna do this, it's not about the specific questions you answer. I think it's more about the energy that you dedicate to the exercise of pausing. So along the way, one, generate gratitude for yourself. That's where it helps to think about the things that went well, and two, have grace for yourself and know that this was a hard year and very challenging for a lot of people. Anyway, time for bed. See you guys in the morning for sunrise. So guys, I hope you got something out of this video. I definitely did get some good time to just pause and reflect here as I wanted to. The ultimate reason why I want to do something like this, where I take the time out, dedicate it, set it aside to pause, ultimately roots back to, are you happy? Am I happy with the places I'm going? And it's also about honoring where I've been and not just passing it by and never thinking about it again. So I'm getting a lot of value out of the reflection in that way. Yeah, I think it's really important to take inventory of yourself now and then. Yeah, it is a big goal of mine to make more of these kinds of videos in 2021. So if you got something out of this, which I hope you did, maybe a question to ask yourself or just a push to set aside even 20 minutes for yourself to sit, pause, journal, then subscribe for more videos coming next year. Another goal of mine is just to pursue ideas as they come, like I did with this one. I decided to do this video 3 days ago, I rented the house. Here we are. Hope you got something out of this video. That's all, and I will see you in 2021.